It's Tuesday, and time for Tuesdays with Jane. We left you when camp was just being built. And one of the things I talked about was that there was a lodge, cabins, and a bathhouse. The bathhouse, however, didn't have showers. It didn't have any other kinds of amenities that we might see today. However, our cabins are original from 1926. When campers first came to camp, however, there were no cabins. They slept in the lodge for the first week or two that they were here, and as the cabin was finished, 12 girls got to sleep in that cabin. I was fortunate enough about 20 years ago to talk to Mrs. Powell. Mrs. Powell was a camper in 1927, and she told us all about how the cabins were built and what it was like to be a camper. All the girls slept on the floor in the lodge. They ate in there after they picked up their sleeping bags. And then each week, someone would be able to move out with their friends to the cabin that was finished. However, while they were sleeping in the lodge, she said it was a little scary because kids would get up and walk in their sleep, and they might talk in their sleep, and everybody was sleeping in the same room. So it was quite an adventure, even without some of the camp out trips and things. After those cabins were finished, then each girl had their own cabin in their cabin group when they came to camp the following year in 1928. So it was quite an adventure. If you look around me, you'll see the pathway going down to the other cabins. The doors on the lakeside cabins open straight out to this pathway. That's not how they were built. It wasn't until 1970s that Director Bev Cassidy realized that the erosion on the cabins on the lakeside were starting to take their toll after all the children had been walking there. So it was decided in the 80s that what they would do is to change where the door was. So from the 1980s on, instead of the lakeside cabins opening to the lakeside, they opened to the pathway. At this time, all the children came to the same pathway. You'll notice there is quite a difference from the time that the cabins were built and how wooded the pathway was compared to how it is today. Part of that is just over time, all the foot traffic that was on that pathway. Kids going up to the lodge to be able to have breakfast, and this is what the lodge looked like. In 1920, that would be 1926, they built the lodge so that that would be ready for the children then in 1927. You would walk then down this pathway to get to your cabin, but you would not see the cabins the way you see them today. They were kind of hidden in the woods. One of the hardest parts for the crew was to be able to get a cabin built each week. So they lived here at camp and in Newaygo County to be able to get cabins built. And we have postcards where their wives came with them, and they would send postcards about how the fishing was. So maybe they could have built more cabins if they weren't fishing quite so much. These 9 cabins are here today just as they were when they were built in 1927.